Most men don't realize they sabotage their chances with women by overgiving emotionally. They assume if they just show how much they care through compliments, validation, and constant attention, she'll return the favor with loyalty, affection, and love. But that belief is not only wrong, it's deeply unattractive. When a man gives validation freely, especially early on, it doesn't feel like generosity to a woman, it feels like pressure. It signals that he's already emotionally invested before she's earned anything. And when something is too easy to get, it loses value. The truth is, when you give your approval away too quickly, you unconsciously tell her she doesn't need to work for your attention. There's no mystery, no chase, no emotional edge. You've already made up your mind about her, and she hasn't even shown you who she truly is yet. That imbalance triggers her instinct to pull back, not out of cruelty, but because it signals that she now has the upper hand and women don't chase what they already possess. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding the emotional dynamic at play. Hypergamy, her biological instinct to seek out the highest value male, is always active beneath the surface. It's not about money or status alone, but about emotional self-worth. You hand over your power by over-validating. You place her above you. She's no longer wondering how you feel. She knows. And when there's no tension, there's no emotional pull. What keeps a woman engaged is a man who holds his center, who observes before offering praise, who lets her earn his interest. That's the difference between being another forgettable admirer and the man who lingers in her mind long after the conversation ends. Kindness, on its own, isn't enough to create attraction. It may win you politeness or a smile, but it doesn't create that deep emotional pull that keeps a woman thinking about you when you're not around. The reality is, when kindness comes without boundaries, without standards, and without restraint, it doesn't feel special, it feels automatic, and anything automatic becomes invisible. Women don't crave what's constantly available. They crave what they have to earn. This is why men who are emotionally measured, who don't give their attention away so easily, naturally create more tension, more curiosity, and ultimately more desire. Mystery and emotional restraint are not about being cold or distant, they're about being grounded. When a woman doesn't immediately know where she stands with you, she becomes more alert, more engaged. Her mind starts to work. Does he like me? What does he think of me? Why isn't he chasing me like the others? That uncertainty isn't cruelty, it's tension. And tension is the emotional glue that binds attraction. A man who offers selective approval signals that he has standards. He doesn't praise beauty alone because beauty is common. He looks for character, energy, and consistency. And when he does give praise, it hits harder because it's earned and handed out to anyone who smiles at him. That makes his attention valuable. It separates him from the countless men who try to win women over by giving more, doing more, and revealing more too soon. When you learn to stay calm in her emotional waves, to not rush in with validation every time she seeks attention, you become the one she wants to understand. Your presence carries weight. Your silence becomes a challenge. And that challenge becomes the doorway to real emotional connection. Not because you chased her, but because she chose to follow your lead. Many men mistakenly believe that vulnerability and emotional openness are the keys to winning a woman's heart. They've been told that if they just show their soft side, if they express their feelings early and often, it will make them more desirable. But in reality, vulnerability without discernment doesn't attract, it repels. When you expose your emotions before a woman has earned access to them, it signals that you're trying to buy her affection with emotional currency. And no matter how sincere your intentions, she'll feel the imbalance because you're giving before she's proven she's worthy of receiving. This kind of emotional overinvestment is often mistaken for being real. But what it really shows is a lack of standards. You're treating her as special, not because of who she is or what she's shown you, but simply because she exists. That's not intimates, it's pedestalization. And when a woman is placed on a pedestal too soon, it makes her feel more pressure than passion. She doesn't feel chosen, she feels targeted. Women want to feel like they've earned a man's approval through their actions, energy, and alignment with his values. What makes praise feel rewarding? When she brings peace, supports your mission, and stays consistent. Your validation becomes meaningful because it's a reflection of her effort, not a random emotional offering. Not validating her to get something, you're recognizing her because she's met your internal standard. A woman doesn't crave the man who opens up too soon. She craves the man who holds back just enough to keep her leaning in, who reveals himself gradually in response to her consistency. That's when emotional connection deepens, not through overexposure, but through earned access. The man who makes her rise to his level rather than dropping to hers for approval. This becomes the man she can't stop thinking about. A woman doesn't want a man she can control emotionally. The moment she can predict your every move, reaction, or feeling, she subconsciously loses interest. Predictability breeds comfort, but too much comfort kills attraction. Emotional certainty might feel safe, but it doesn't create the spark that makes a woman feel deeply connected, curious, or compelled to earn your attention. What keeps her emotionally engaged is a man who holds his frame, who doesn't get pulled out of his center just because she's being distant, moody, or testing boundaries. Emotional polarity is the driving force behind romantic tension. It's the contrast between her emotional nature and your emotional discipline. When she's reactive, you're calm. She's unsure, you're steady. This consistency doesn't make you boring. It makes you magnetic. Women may not consciously articulate it, but they're deeply drawn to a man who doesn't chase validation or approval. A man who doesn't flinch under pressure becomes a psychological anchor. He becomes the one she looks to for stability. Even while she challenges him emotionally, staying grounded doesn't mean being cold or indifferent. It means not reacting emotionally to every signal she sends. It means observing, not overanalyzing. It means recognizing that not every emotional wave from her needs a response from you. And it means valuing your inner peace above temporary comfort or attention. When you show that your attention must be earned, that your emotions are reserved for those who demonstrate loyalty and consistency, you create a powerful dynamic. She's not just receiving your affection, she's working for it. And through that investment, she builds deeper attachment. It's not manipulation, it's leadership. By holding your frame, you give her what she craves most. The emotional high that comes from knowing she's gaining access to a man who cannot be shaken. That's what keeps her coming back. When you stop giving away your approval freely, you discover a woman's true character. Some will get angry, some will distance themselves. Some will accuse you of being cold or emotionally unavailable. But that reaction isn't a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a filter. It reveals who's interested in genuine connection and who is only drawn to the attention you gave to isolate. The women who value depth, who respect strength, and who are willing to earn intimacy won't walk away, they'll step up. Letting a woman earn your attention doesn't mean being manipulative. It means holding a standard. It means letting her invest before you reveal your emotions. That investment is what creates desire. When she doesn't know exactly how you feel, when she has to wonder where she stands, she starts to lean in. Replays conversations, initiates contact, and puts effort into the connection. Not because she's being gamed, because she senses value. We chase what we value. This is the paradox. The less you validate her up front, the more she wants your validation. It's not because you're playing hard to get, but because you're not giving what hasn't been earned. Your emotional restraint becomes power. It creates tension, mystery, and allure. These aren't tricks, they're qualities of a man who values himself. You don't win a woman by proving your worth. You win her by standing in it. You don't gain respect by opening up too fast. You gain it by opening gradually, in response to her consistency. The right woman won't be offended by this. She'll be inspired. Because deep down, every woman wants a man who doesn't need her, but chooses her. A man she can't sway with drama. A man who makes her feel something. Real, because he gave nothing away until she proved she could handle it.